anybody need another minute? Okay. Okay, tell me about some times that you have had trouble hearing or understanding something at some type of performance. Autumn. At a concert. Where was it? Give me all the details.
We were in the very middle row, kind of, and it got hard to hear because everybody around us was screaming.
Okay. So it wasn't actually a problem with the performance as much as with the audience. Agree with that or disagree with that? Okay. What could you have done to have made it better? Or what could somebody else have done to have made it better? No idea. Y'all are not awake this morning. It's Friday, y'all. Anybody else? Go ahead.
When someone was speaking, it was really hard to hear because they were really close to the mic and their words started getting really muffled.
So it wasn't actually a volume problem, it was being in the mic and not being able to hear what you're saying, right? I've had that happen too. Eating my mask. I've had that happen too. So sometimes you'll even see, and this is kind of an older thing, but you'll even see a piece of foam on a microphone sometimes because that means that it kind of blocks out all that being able to get right up to it, or blocks out some of the spit that happens when you spit into the microphone. Why do you think we're wearing masks? When we talk, we spit. We don't mean to, and it's not big, but all that stuff comes out of our mouth. So sometimes they'll even put this piece of foam on top of a microphone. You'll see that if people are wearing the little lavalier microphones or the little headset microphones that'll come down, they'll try to put a little piece of foam on it so that it catches some of that wind resistance and stuff instead of it hitting the microphone. Anybody else? Go, Grayson.
It was one time in class. It wasn't actually in a classroom. It was in the lunchroom, but so my friend had brought over his mom to eat lunch with him. He wanted me to eat lunch with him. And for some reason that day my ears had gotten like stopped up or something. I could not hear out of them. I could not hear anything. And I had to keep on saying, I'm sorry, what? A bunch of times.
To his mom? Okay. Not really anything you can do about that. That's not your fault, right? You might could take some cold medicine to get some of that junk out of your head, possibly, but not really somebody's fault. I have also been in a theater one time where there was kind of this dead zone. I don't know if you understand what that means or not, but it's a place where the sound doesn't travel very well because of the positioning of the speakers. So I was very close to the stage, which you would think would be a great place to hear, but I was in this kind of dead zone, so I couldn't hear very well. So maybe I should have chosen better tickets. Or maybe the people who were putting the tickets out should have told me, hey, this is not a great place to hear. Anything else? All right, y'all got to wake up this morning. Today we are actually going to combine two small lessons into one larger lesson because I need to make sure that we get through all of this so that we can have all of next week to work on what we're going to talk about at the end of class today. Your learning target says I can define volume and rate as well as participate in activities to develop volume and rate. And then we're going to have another learning activity another learning target in a second. Volume is how loudly or softly you speak. Nobody has ever told me that I speak softly. I wonder why. I come by it quite naturally. I have the loudest father on the planet. I also know how to project my voice, and I've been on stage forever and ever and ever, and I need to be able to project and get my voice and my volume out there. The basis for a person's volume is breath control. Actors must develop breath control to regulate the amount of air being used when speaking, and we've talked a little bit about breath control in this unit already. They also need to use proper voice placement, directing the voice where the audience is located. That's why we try never to turn our... Thank you, VJ. You know how I know it's you? Because you were loud enough for me to hear you. I recognize your voice. I don't turn my back to the audience when I'm on stage because I want my voice going this way toward the audience. So I need that to happen for the audience to hear me. Otherwise, the result will be uneven volume or unclear sounds and words. The distance between the actor and the audience will be a problem if volume is not used properly. As you can imagine, your audience will be disappointed if they can't hear what you're saying. They've probably paid money to come see you. And if they're like my parents, they've paid money to come see you in every single show. How many of you have those people? My parents come to every single show that I'm ever in. Or if Molly's in a show, they come to almost every single show that she's ever in. So they've paid a lot of money by the time it's over. They want to be able to hear and understand what is going on. Shouting is never an answer. You can place your voice where it is needed by focusing your vocal energy towards your listeners. It's your responsibility as an actor to train your voice for adequate volume. You must constantly have the desire to be heard, and you must understand what it takes to reach that goal. A good performance demands it. So we have talked about articulation. We have talked about, what did we talk about yesterday? Pronunciation. We have talked about breath control. We've talked about how to breathe properly. All of the things that I am teaching you are leading up to something at the end of this unit. We got to put all of those things together to have a happy audience. And volume is one of those things. Remember that good posture and breath control, what we've already talked about, are essential in the drills and exercises for improving your volume. The diaphragm plays the key role in producing volume for the stage. Now, here's what I have trouble with. I never have trouble being heard, but I talk too fast. Anybody else? Thank you, Autumn. You've said that several times, that you are a fast talker. I am a fast talker. I have to concentrate to slow down and make sure that you can understand me. If you have a regular conversation with me at my desk, I talk way faster than this because I'm not performing. I'm not on stage. I'm not doing something for an audience. So when you're over there, I'm talking 90 seconds. So did you get all the... So you better be able to hear fast because I'm going to be talking fast. But on stage, I concentrate on it. Rate is the speed at which you speak. Rate and volume affect each other. Again, breath control is important in having an effective rate both for everyday speaking and on stage. Many actors mispronounce and slur their words when they speak too fast. When this happens, the audience becomes lost and confused. You are probably saying lines on stage that you have said 200 times. It's the audience's first time to hear it. You have to slow down. Just because you are well aware of what you're saying doesn't make the audience well aware of what you're saying. So you've got to slow down so that they understand you. Never cause your audience to misunderstand what's going on because of rapid speaking. Rate is one of the elements of the voice that can be effectively used for characterization. You must give your audience time to listen and think about what they hear. Now, you don't want it to be like this. The library must have been the place. That's where it happened. That's too much. Okay, they've gone to sleep between your two lines. But you also don't want to say, the library must have been the place, that's where it happened. That's exactly where it was. I know that's what happened. Way too fast. You got to find a middle of the road. On stage, some characters do need to speak rapidly, but it is impossible to control articulation inside a rapid rate. Always remember that this is the first time and probably the only time the audience will hear the performance. Probably, unless you have parents and grandparents that want to see you several times. I'll never forget that in 7th grade, I think, I played this real airheady character who talked real fast. So I was supposed to be chomping on my gum and playing with my hair, and I was real crazy. But I had to make sure that the words that I said, because they were funny lines, I had to make sure that they were understood, or the audience wouldn't hear them, comprehend them, and laugh at them. And then I was going to think I was a bad actor. So even though I was supposed to talk fast, I had to do it at a rate which was fast enough to be more than normal, but not so fast that they couldn't comprehend it. All right, you have 2 vocabulary words right now. You're going to have a third one in just a second. They are volume, how softly or loudly you speak, and rate, the speed at which you speak. So in your little homework section on Schoology yesterday, I asked you to bring a kid's book to school today, and then I realized that it was with an activity that we couldn't do because we couldn't be 6 feet apart with it. So that's why I sent you the little text last night about don't bring it. So I'm going to do the activity kind of-ish, the way that we would have done it if we had been able to participate. You have to know who your audience is and where your audience is to know what volume with which to speak. So I am going to choose Sophie Harris to read this book to. So come here, Sophie Harris, and sit right here on the floor like you're a little kid. A house for Hermit Crab. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of his shell and onto the ocean floor. Now, I know you probably could kind of hear me back there, Angie, but was it clear?
I mean, sort of.
Sort of. Not clear enough for you to really fully comprehend this. Why was my volume so low that you couldn't hear it?
Because you weren't reading to me.
I wasn't talking to you. I was just talking to Sophie Harris. Could you understand what I was saying? Because we are at a distance that I knew that I didn't have to speak with this volume. Because I'm only trying to get a few feet in front of me. Okay? Come here, Dalton. Come here, Lila. Stay there. Dalton, sit by the podium. Lila, sit by the desk. But it was frightening, out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a home soon. Difference in volume? A little bit higher. You probably could hear me, but again, it wasn't intended for you, so I didn't really care if you could hear me. Sydney, did you understand every word?
I mean, I heard it.
Yeah.
It
Wasn't clear,
yeah.
but you could hear that I was talking. Okay, thank you. You can go back. Time moves, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too small for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the ocean floor. But it was frightening out in the open ocean without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. Difference in volume? Yes, I know my audience. Do you think this volume would be the same as the volume I would use on stage in our auditorium? Not at all. I got to ramp it up even more. I'm talking to 30 people in this room. I'm talking to 525 in the auditorium. Big difference? Absolutely. What would help me in the auditorium? A microphone. What if a microphone is not available? What, Sydney? I got to increase my volume. Now, if I take my voice onto the stage at the high school? Saw some big eyes. Finley, what's going to happen there? Yeah, I got to be even louder. I'm not certain that my voice could fill the entire high school auditorium. I need a microphone there. What about the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center? Is my voice going to fill that stage? No, not at all. I got to be mic'd there. No question about it. You got to have it. I ain't got the pipes for that. Okay, I'm not going to get it out there. So that was the first activity that we were supposed to do, favorite children's story. Now we're going to say our ABCs, because nobody knows their ABCs, right? I hope you do. Stand up. Now, it is not that I don't feel like you know your ABCs. However, we are going to go from A to Z, increasing our volume. So if I want my volume at Z to be about right here, what does A need to do? It needs to be way lower. When I get to Z, we are then going to go backwards. That's why I have the ABCs, because it's kind of harder to say them backwards than it is to say them forwards. Probably haven't practiced that many times. As we go backwards, we're no longer increasing our volume. We are decreasing our volume. Now, I kind of think about the phases of the moon. When I go outside every night, can I tell that the phase of the moon has changed much? Not if I go out every single night. But what about if I go out tonight, which I think it's a new moon tonight, and then I go out in 2 weeks? Big change. So I'm probably not going to see a big change from A to B, but I should see a major change from A to I. Probably won't see a big change from I to J, but by the time I get to R, I should see a major change. Yes? Okay, are you ready? We're going to say them about this beat. Okay, starting with A, go. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, Y,
X, W, V,
come on.
U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, D.
That was really good. Nice job. Have a seat. What did you find easy or hard about that? Okay. Now, again, screaming is really not what we're going for. We want to project our voice. I will say, I noticed about letter T that I had probably increased a little too fast, because by the time I got to about here, I was feeling it in my voice, and I should not feel it in my throat. I should be able to increase to a volume that doesn't hurt my throat by using my diaphragm. So I could tell I had gone a little too far too fast. Was it easier to increase or decrease? Increase? Decrease? What? Increase? Are you glad that I had them so you didn't have to memorize them backwards and know them back? Yeah, I think so too. What in the world does this have to do with the stage? Say it again. You have to project your voice, and you've got to know where those increases need to happen and where they need to fall back down. You've got to know where those go. All right, we are skipping to our second lesson, and the learning target is all about projection. I can define projection. Projection is the placement and delivery of all of the characteristics of an effective voice to communicate with your audience. It's not just about loud. It makes no difference where you are performing, in a classroom, a cafeteria, a small courtyard, or an auditorium. Your audience must be able to understand you. Projection involves aiming your voice at the directed target, and it combines all of the voice elements discussed earlier. As an actor, it is your responsibility to use all of the techniques that are available to you, which I have given you tons of techniques and good vocal projection and voice. Marley, will you read for me?
Projection involves delivering your lines to the audience, and energy is vital in the delivery of those lines.
Stop. Could you hear her? Could you understand her? And did she give you an energy? Or did she just say, projection involves delivering your lines to the audience and energy is the vital of the lines? Good job, Marley. Keep going.
You constantly must be aware of where the audience is. Not only must you remember all the aspects of acting and speaking on stage, you must also remain aware of the audience's need to hear you.
Okay. What if you have the job of whispering on stage? What?
You need to whisper.
You need to whisper.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Well, that's your job.
VJ.
It's like whispering, but the audience still needs to hear you.
It's like whispering, but the audience what?
Still needs to hear you.
Still needs to hear you. They do still need to hear you. Sydney?
It's like you can like talk to where they can hear you, but make it to where it seems like you're whispering, like make it kind of raspy.
Okay. What else could you use besides just your voice to whisper? Grayson? Okay. What besides the voice unit might help you have a stage whisper better? VJ? Gestures. What if my body looked more like I was whispering than my mouth sounded like I was whispering? What do you do when you whisper? I just saw you do it, Marley. Yeah, when you're whispering, you're trying not to let other people hear you. And I see it happen in the hall all the time. You don't want everybody in the hall to hear you, so you do something that shows that you're whispering. You either crouch, or you cover up your mouth, or you get in somebody's ear. So my body can give the audience the appearance that I am whispering when maybe my voice hasn't really decreased that much. It does need to decrease. But if I'm saying, hey, did you see what she was wearing? And I want my audience to hear it, I need to look more like a whisper than I need to sound like a whisper. Hey, did you see what she was wearing? Did it look like a whisper? Yeah. So I have to know that there's more than just the voice on the stage. Having the right attitude is critical. Proper and effective projection requires that you want to speak and perform well. Voice projection takes desire, study, and hours of work. The result, however, is that your audience will hear and understand the performance. They will enjoy and possibly even learn from the performance. Here is a big, big sentence. You gotta want to do it the right way, which is very important for what we're about to talk about in just a few minutes about your unit test. Okay, you have one more vocabulary word, and it is projection. Yes, ma'am? Where are the chargers? All around the room. I'll come use this one. And grab you a piece of paper for projection. So let's do one more activity. talking about projection, it's going to look very similar to what we just did a second ago. Oh, sorry, we got to do something else first. All right, tell me about the Olympics. If you are in a swimming competition or a running competition, what happens in the Olympics? Do you remember the Olympics enough to know? Does everybody compete in all of the swimming all at the same time? No, you have something called heats. And a heat means that we're going to take 6 or 8 people, we're going to let them race, and we're going to take the top few of those and hold them out here, and then we'll have another heat and take the top few of those, and then we'll have a final race at the end. That's what happens in speed skating and all kinds of things. So we're going to do the Alphabet Olympics. I'm going to ask a few people to come up here. We're going to say the alphabet, and we are going to choose which of those people had the best projection. Not yelling, being understood, all of the things that we've been talking about in our voice unit. Understand? The top person out of every group, we'll do the top 2, how about that? The top 2 people out of every group will come back and compete again with the tops of all the other people. Okay? All right, let me have numbers 1 through 6. 1 through 6. You know what? Let's go one more. Come on, Lala. All right, face your audience. Spread out. We're going to say the alphabet. You are the judges. You get to decide who moves on to the next heat. You ready? Using all of your projection, your enunciation, your articulation, your I just said that, pronunciation. All of those things we've been talking about. We're going to say the alphabet. Got to be able to hear you. Are you ready? Here we go. Go. A.
B. C.
Hold on. Do y'all know the alphabet?
Yes, I didn't know.
Just take. We're not going backwards. We're just going forwards. Y'all know the alphabet?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Ready? Go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Wow. That was hard. I have 2 choices, but Okay, Finley. Marley and Grayson. Sarah. Marley and Angie. Wow, nobody's voted on the same people yet. What would you say?
I think Marley and Grayson.
Marley and Grayson. Y'all are the experts over here. What do you say? What do you, Julia?
I thought it was Marley and Angie.
Marley and Angie? Angie and Grayson.
Angie and Grayson.
Angie and Grayson? Ooh, that's hard. Alright, let's vote. Grayson, I think you're in. You definitely got the vote. Alright, raise your hand if you want to vote for Marley. She's not gonna come pull all your hair out or anything if you don't vote for her. It's okay. Okay, raise your hand if you want to vote for Angie. Alright, Angie, you win. Okay, last group. If you hadn't gone, come on. Woo, we got a big group over here. Yeah, Mackenzie, you can come on, baby. We're just projecting our voices. Spread out, spread out, spread out, spread out. Well, Chloe? You walking like an old lady this morning? Spread out. Now, I know that she is too, but this, to me, should say something. She has a standard to me. I know you are too. But this should say something to you. Don't fail me. I mean, you got it across your chest. It's your fault. Okay, here we go. Ready? Go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
That was something good. All right, Amari, what are you voting? Chloe and Sydney. That's what I had in my head. What are you thinking, Finley? Yeah. Yeah. Chloe and Sydney. Julia, what are you thinking?
I agree with them.
You agree with them. Angie.
Chloe and Sydney.
Chloe. I really thought it was Mackenzie at first. And then I decided maybe it was you who was louder. What do you think? What do you think? All right, Chloe and Sydney. Fine, thank you. Good job. All right, all my little winners. Spread out. Ooh, this is a lot to have to differentiate between. Good luck. Front row people have a better seat. Spread it out. Come on. What if we do 2 more heats? What if we do 4 and 4 and then have a winner from each of those?
Yeah.
All right, so Lila to Sydney. Y'all first. Here we go. Go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
I got one in my head. Let's see if we match. Sophie Harris?
Chloe and Natalie.
Well, we're only going to do one. We're only picking one. If you had to vote for one, who would you pick?
Natalie.
Natalie? Natalie?
Chloe.
Natalie. Sydney. Chloe.
Man, I had you picked out, Sydney. All right, raise your hand if you want to vote for Chloe. Raise your hand if you want to vote for Natalie. 2, 6. All right, Chloe, you win. Okay, have a seat. Chloe, stay. All right, last 4. Here we go. Go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V,
same page today? I thought Angie was knocking it out of the park. Let me tell you why I did not think Julia. Did you hear how the pitch of her voice was a little bit higher? I felt like that meant that she was kind of straining. She wasn't projecting, she was straining a little bit. But I am not the guru. I'll let you vote. So, I think I heard the most between Dalton and Julia, I think. So you guys can have a seat, and let's vote. You guys can vote too. Who says Julia? Raise your hand. Who says Dalton? Raise your hand. Okay, Dalton and Chloe is. This is Julia. You win the bronze medal. This is for the gold. I don't have a gold medal. Sorry. I don't even have a gold coin or anything. Okay, listening carefully. Are you ready? You're not? Have you ever been in a gold medal competition before? Yeah? It's probably way more, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. All right, here we go. Go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
I don't even have a vote. I have no idea. If you want to vote for Dalton, raise your hand. If you want to vote for Chloe, raise your hand. Dalton. Chloe. Dalton, you are the winner. Prestigious is the word I was looking for. Your last gold medal race was probably way more prestigious than this. You win the silver with your shuffling along. Do your shoes hurt your feet? What's the deal? That's just you, huh? She what?
She can't cruise.
Oh, who said that? Or that's just your thing. It's just your. Okay. Here we go. Let's talk about next week. Everything that we have learned, we've been spending 3 weeks on this unit. It is that important. It's not because I really like to talk about the voice. It's because it's that important. So we have talked about breath control and all of the pieces that go together with breath control. And we've talked about how we talk correctly. We've talked about taking and like and okay and so out of our vocabulary. This has all been heading toward a big project that we are going to do next week. And it is for your grade for this unit. You are going to recite, that means learn and memorize and say, a monologue. It is not going to be a very long monologue, and I am going to give you all of the details next week. I am going to give you time in this class to learn and memorize the monologue, along with some tips about how you can make it work for you the best. People learn monologues in a lot of different ways. I'm going to show you examples of what I see as monologues. I'm going to show you the, wow, you really deserve less than a 0 monologue. If I could give negative numbers, I would have given you a negative number for this monologue. Then I'm going to show you a, you didn't quite get there because you didn't really understand that it's more than just saying words, but it's okay-ish. And then I'm going to show you a really good one. What are you digging for? Okay. Chill out. These will be done Thursday and Friday. You're going to have some opportunity for some bonus points. Lots of you ask me all the time, what can I do for bonus points? And I don't just make up bonus points assignments. So there's going to be an opportunity for bonus points, but these will be done next Thursday and Friday. I'll give you some hints about some things. I'll show you how to do some things. I'll give you a rubric on how I'm going to be grading you. And this will be a significant test grade for you. You will also have some options about how to perform it. Again, there'll be some bonus points added into there if you do some different things. So that is what is on the horizon. Taking all of these things. So here's my suggestion for you this weekend. I would go ahead and start focusing and concentrating on how you're talking. If you're mumbling your way through life, this is the time to try to change it. If you are not finishing words, this is the time to change it. If you didn't make a perfect score on your tongue twister, this is the time to work on speaking correctly. Yes? Questions for me? It's not meant to be something scary. It's meant to be a very, very real part of theater. You have to talk. And you don't just talk in theater. You also talk in life. Theater is life. Life is theater. So this is a skill that you will be able to use not just on the stage, but in real life as well. Questions for me? Who's already stressing? Okay. I need to come and just give you a hug, even though I can't. I need to come and give you a hug. It's a big grade, but it's not something to stress over. We have been talking our way through this for 3 weeks. You've got the tools to do this well. That was my job, was to give you a tool, piece by piece. I've given you a whole toolkit of how to do this well. And I'm going to give you time in here to memorize what you need to do. So I need you to take a deep breath, Mary Grace. Let me see it. Deep breath from the diaphragm. Diaphragmatic breathing. Deep breath, Autumn. Come on. Why don't you go ahead and gather your stuff up and go on and go to Miss French so that you're not late to your next class. What class do you have next? PE. Go ahead and go. All right, I love you. I hope you have the most wonderful, fantastic weekend. It's going to be cold tonight if you're going to the ball game. Bundle up. Don't hurt your voice. Protect it. Cheerleaders, no yelling and becoming all raspy. Of course, games are over, I guess, unless you're going tonight. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to ATOX tonight.
You're going to ATOX tonight. You'll be doing a lot of screaming, too. I need you to stop the guy chasing you with the chainsaw and go, excuse me, I must scream with diaphragmatic breathing. Oh! Instead of, ee! Okay? That's what you have to do tonight.
I'm scared of everything.
That's your homework.